Welcome, Cleveland, welcome, woven. Thanks, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Dual, better known to as the Big D. You'll be seeing me in just a bit. Well, I'm back with a special ranking. Today I'm going to be ranking my favorite songs from one of my favorite British bands, Def Leppard. This ranking's been in the work for some time, and, well, I had anticipated giving you this when I first started giving you videos on my channel. Well, now I've got a ranking, and I'm finally going to give it to you. So, let's get it going. Give me just a moment and you'll see me. Now, I bet you were surprised that you just hear me say that little German gibberish that was given at the beginning of one of my favorite songs, which I won't. You probably already know what it is, and we'll see where it winds up. Anyway, I've ranked 12 of my favorite songs. This is going to be their singles only. Now, anyway, Def Leppard's been around for many years. They formed in 1976 in Sheffield, and they established themselves as part of the new wave of British heavy metal movement of the early 1980s. Now, of course, the band consisted of some of their founding members, which have included Joe Elliott on lead vocals, Rick Savage on bass, Phil Collins on guitar, Vivian Campbell on guitar, and Rick Allen on drums. Of course, some of their members have included Tony King, who was, I'm not sure I'm familiar with that one, Pete Willis, who was one of their original other guitarists before Phil Collins replaced him, and of course, the guy Vivian Campbell replaced, the late great Steve Clark. They had big success coming through between the early 80s and the early 90s. Anyway, now their first album, 1980s On Through the Night, received little notice elsewhere, but it became a success in the UK. But their second album, which was High and Dry, put them on the map, which was produced by Robert John Mutt Lange. Anyway, now that's out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and give to you my favorite songs from them. Again, this will be just their singles. Before I get into this, let me give a few honorable mentions. Now, you're probably going to hate me for having these not make the list. Those include Love Bites and Pour Some Sugar on Me. Please don't get mad. I'm not trying to get controversial or anything. Love Bites is good and what have you. It just kind of missed it a wee bit. And as for Pour Some Sugar on Me, the song's way too overrated and what have you. I'll also give just a little bit of some honorable mentions for Too Late for Love. That kind of missed it, but it's okay. Let's see. And and I think, let me see. Yeah, Have You Ever Needed Someone So Bad? That's another honorable mention. So, enough said. Let's get on with the ranking. So, if you're ready, sit back, relax, and here we go. Number 12 is Foolin. This was released as the third single from 1983's Pyromania, which, of course, was the album that really put them on the map and what have you. I thought this song's still pretty good in ways. I don't get to take the time to listen to it all the time, but I still like it and what have you. Now, Cashbox said this had structural similarities to Photograph, which we'll see where that winds up later on, and falls in that single's skillful pop blend of melodicism, I apologize if I mispronounced it, and metallicism. I couldn't have said it better myself. I will tell you that, really something. So anyway, I think Foolin's not too bad of a song, and I do like it still. Number 11 is Make Love Like a Man. Now, this was released as the second single from 1992's Adrenalize. That, of course, would be the band's first. Well, not. No, it was no, it wasn't. It was their other album to come in on top of the Billboard chart, where it stayed there for a whole month, holding off Bruce Springsteen's Human Touch. The song became a top 5 hit on the mainstream rock chart and reached the top 40 on the Billboard Hot 100. Now, I will say I really love this song. This is kind of an underrated song of the band's, and this was right when Vivian Campbell joined the group. It was also one of the few songs that Steve Clark, their late guitarist, penned, well, just right before his death, in my view, because he died in not in January of 1991 in his sleep. Well, according to Joe Elliott, he said that the song was not about the band trying to be macho and were just trying to be funny about the content of the song. And I will have to agree and what have you. So anyway, he explained that the band had come to terms with the death of Clark on the album track White Lightning, but that's a pretty good song. Wanted to have a lighter song on the album. So, and Elliott once said that he would rather not play this song live anymore, as the lyrics were a nod to stupid. Hey, that's no problem. I can understand and what have you. After all, it's still one of my favorites. Number 10 is Women. Now, although this was released as a second single from 1987's Hysteria, their best-selling album in the UK, this was released as the first single here in the US. The song unfortunately bombed, though, failing to only make it to number 80 on the Hot 100. But however, it was a top 10 hit on mainstream rock. But I don't get to hear this song anymore. I do have this on the MP3 player, and this is one song I feel like this is an underrated Def Leppard song. I like how it starts out with its guitar playing, you know. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I'm just trying not to give anything so I don't get into trouble or anything from, you know. But anyway, I think this is, again, easily an underrated song of theirs. But even so, I think it's pretty awesome. I have seen the music video, which focused on a boy reading a comic book outside an abandoned warehouse while the band performs a song. And believe me, it's really cool. It's comic book was titled Def Leppard and the Women of Doom, featuring a skateboard protagonist named Def Leppard who travels to a distant planet and battles evil aliens to liberate female robots. Oh, wow. This was something. And this was also their first video filmed after drummer Rick Allen lost his left arm in an auto collision. After, his amputation and what have you. But anyway, Rick Allen still proved to be a great drummer. I really liked it. But anyway, Women, again, very underrated song. But I do love it, though. Number 9 is Animal, also from Hysteria. Now, this was released as the second single from the album here in the US, but it was released as the first single in the UK. I think this song's pretty good. It's usually known by the band as having been the most difficult track to record for the album. It was one of the first songs developed in early '84 after Pyromania was a success. But anyway, I will say this was pretty good and what have you. Well, despite Women failed to do so well, they managed to redeem themselves with this one. It made the top 20 on the Billboard Hot 100, and I think it's really cool and kicking what have you. Animal's just absolutely really good. I do like it. Number 8 is Tonight. Now, let me see here. Now, this was originally released as the it was released as the sixth single overall from Adrenalize. Now, this I also consider to be a very underrated song of theirs. This song became a minor success on the Hot 100, reaching number 62, and it made the top 20 on the album Rock Tracks chart. I think it was still pretty good. This was a pretty good bit of I think it's kind of in a way a power ballad in ways. I saw its music video, which was directed by Wayne Isom, who also would go on to direct videos for many, many artists and what have you. Yeah. Yeah, he also directed the band's Have You Ever Needed Someone So Bad, as a matter of fact. He even directed he also had directed Megadeth's Symphony of Destruction, but that's a pretty good song in Miami, as well as their song Sweating Bullets. He also directed videos for Bon Jovi, Skid Row, Metallica, Bob Seger, and even Bon Jovi, who of course were label mates of Def Leppard at Mercury Records. Anyway, Tonight, a great song, but very underrated though. But it's great in my opinion. I used to love playing that song. I have Adrenalize on cassette tape. Number 7 is Hysteria. Now, this was released as the 4th single from the album of the same name. And I've got to say, this was pretty good. This actually became the band's first top 10 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, which actually peaked at number 10. Now on the VH1 Storytellers program, Joe Elliott revealed that the song title came from Rick Allen and features a clean guitar melody and heavily multi-tracked vocals in its chorus. The extreme nature of producer Mutt Lange's recording methods is also exampled in the pre-chorus, where the clean guitar chords were recorded one note at a time, as opposed to the traditional method of strumming them, in effect building a chord by recording the notes that make them up. Yes, I have to agree. And Cashbot called it a solid rocker with sophistication, super trampish chorus backgrounds, and a cutting-edge vocal. Definitely. I still hear Hysteria on rock radio to this day. It's a real good song. Number 6 is Bringing on the Heartbreak. Now, this was released as the second and only other single from the band's sophomore album, High and Dry, from 1981. Now, of course, Joe Elliott co-wrote this with Steve Clark and their original guitarist, Pete Willis, before Phil Collins replaced him. I will say that this song's pretty good in my opinion. It's a mix of glam metal, hard rock, and soft rock rolled into one for a power ballad. Record World said that Elliott's dramatic vocals and the estranged guitar cries plod over a sledgehammer beat. Couldn't agree more. Now, rarely you'd hear this song back with the song that comes after this on the album, which was Switch 625. But I only get to hear on YouTube, though. You can actually find both songs together, and it wouldn't be featured on any other hits compilation until the Rock of Ages Definitive Collection. Years later, Mariah Carey would cover this song, which would be included on her Charm Bracelet album. Which her version's okay in one, but I still prefer Def Leppard though. Number 5 is Rocket. Now, this was released as the 7th and final single from Hysteria. And I gotta say, this made the top 20 on the Hot 100. And what can I say? I've heard numerous versions of it. I've heard the single version of the song most of the time, but at times I do hear the actual album version of the song. Now I do have there is a classic rock station in my area that actually does play it, and same with a station that plays both classic and current rock. Now, Joe Elliott came up with the idea after he overheard a friend's cassette of Burundi Black by Burundi Stevenson Black, which had previously had influence on such UK bands such as Adam and the Ants and Bow Wow Wow. So he then borrowed the tape to make a rhythm loop and overlaid guitar chords over it for a rough draft on the song. And I've got to say, I loved it. I especially love how it goes and what have you, and at the end, Rocket. Yeah. That song is so awesome. I remembered listening to that song as a kid. But anyway, Rocket's awesome. I love it. Number 4 is Armageddon. Also from Hysteria. Now, this was released as, hang on a second. Released as the 5th single from the album. This album would become their 3rd big hit. It actually went to number 3, as a matter of fact. It made the top 5. After it Poured Some Sugar on Me made it to the top. And shortly after, Love Bites surpassed those two. But anyway, Armageddon, that's awesome. The vocal style of this song is described as T-Rex meets Eddie Cochran with backing vocals. According to Joe Elliott, in the liner notes for Vault, Def Leppard greatest hits from 1980 to 1995, which I do have, there are 2 mixes of the song that appeared in the single. The Atomic Mix, which is the album version, and the Nuclear Mix, which is an extended version, which I've never heard the Nuclear Mix, but I'll look into it, though. I actually do like how Joe says, "Come on, Steve, get it," or hit, or something like that, and what have you. When you hear Steve Clark's guitars and what have you, that's again Armageddon. I love it. It's a great song. Number 3 is "Let's Get Rocked." Released as the first single from Adrenalize, this song became a big hit. It made it to number 1 on the album Rock Tracks chart. And it made the top 20 on the Hot 100, reaching number 20. I mean, not 20, number 15. Oops, my mistake. Now, the lyrics are about a teenager disobeying the orders of his parents, which, believe me, that's why I liked and what have you. And according to a statement Elliott made on the Best of and Definitive Collection compilation albums, the song was an escapism since the band was working on the White Lightning song and felt like doing something to lighten the atmosphere. So those 2 songs were the last 2 songs recorded for the album. The song has been a live fixture on all of the band's tours since its release. Yeah, definitely good. I love the music video as well, which that's pretty awesome. Of course, it would also be the band's first without Steve Clark. And this was still before Vivian Campbell joined the group. So anyway, Let's Get Rocked was awesome. And of course, I loved its intro. Do you want to get rocked? Yeah, which of course that's what you hear at the end as well. Which makes it my second favorite intro for a Def Leppard song. We'll see what the other song is in a little bit. But anyway, Let's Get Rocked. It's awesome. I do love it. Number 2 is Photograph. Now, this was released as the first single from Pyromania. This song would actually become their first song to top Billboard's Top Rock Tracks chart and made the top 20 on the Hot 100, reaching number 12. Now, Elliott has described the song as generally about something you can't ever get your hands on. And I've got to say, it's pretty good and what have you. I actually remembered seeing the band along with Taylor Swift do this on CMT's Crossroads in 2008. And what can I say? I really thought it was awesome. This was a mix of pop metal, glam metal, hard rock, and power pop. Yes, couldn't agree more. And this, of course, was the one that introduced us to Phil Collin. He was great with his guitar and what have you. I absolutely loved it. It's awesome. Anyway, Photograph, just so awesome. I do love it. Number 1 is Rock of Ages, also from Pyromania. This was released as the second single, and that's why I did the introduction for that song at my intro logo instead of my usual bit. This would also top the rock singles chart. It also made the top 20 on the Hot 100, reaching 16. Excuse me. And boy, let me tell you, it's awesome. The song begins with that little German-like nonsense phrase introduced by Mutt Lange, who is actually of German descent, as a matter of fact, according to the official Def Leppard FAQ. What does that mean? You know, well, nothing in particular, although the band sometimes jokingly claims it means running through the forest silently. It's gibberish, said by Lange during the recordings of Rock of Ages instead of the regular 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Anyway, I love this song. This song is so awesome and what have you. It's easily one of my favorites and what have you. It also was the title of the Definitive Collection, which the band released in 2005. Which it's so awesome. I really, really loved it. Now, the band was at a recording studio when Joe Elliott stumbled upon a hymn book left by a member of a children's choir that had just used the studio. In the book, he saw the words Rock of Ages, which prompted him to write the lyrics to the song, which I thought was really cool. This song is so awesome. I can't seem to get it out of my head. I still love it. It's on my MP3 player. Since rock stations don't get to play that as much, I don't mind still playing Photograph. I know that's kind of overrated as well, but that's my kind of overrated Def Leppard song. But Rock of Ages is awesome. It kicks some serious rare and what have you. I do love it. Rock of Ages, it's awesome. They actually, as a matter of fact, that little intro for the song was also would later get used in the intro for The Offspring's hit Pre-Fly for a White Guy. Anyway, there you have it. That's my Def Leppard songs ranking. What did you think of this ranking? Do you have a favorite Def Leppard song? What's your number 1 favorite? You can give me your number 1 favorite, your top 3, or your top 5, whatever, okay? Please feel free to leave them for me in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you another video, which I'm not really sure what it's going to be, but if I don't do anything next time, then, well, tomorrow, then I'll probably be back with my re-review of Beetlejuice, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, check out these other videos of rankings of songs that I've ranked. If you'd like, see the first half of my Van Halen ranking of the David Lee Roth era. You can also check out the Sammy Hagar era as well, or go to the upper right-hand corner and see my ranking of favorite songs from AC/DC, or go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my ranking of my favorite songs from that little old band from Texas, ZZ Top. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.